Now joining us from our New York bureau for a deeper discussion on the impending independence of South Sudan and its future is David Bassiouni, Chairman and CEO of the Bassiouni Group. He has a long and distinguished career serving in senior government positions in Sudan and several senior positions at UNICEF. Mr. Bassiouni, such a pleasure to have you joining us today. Thank you and welcome.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. I'm curious about what you're feeling today. It's just literally a few days before South Sudan becomes an independent country. Obviously, you've been envisioning this?
This is indeed a momentous occasion, a very historic occasion. I can only draw an example of the delivery of the children of Israel from Egypt and Joshua leading them and crossing with them to the promised land. Many years back, and even now, no single Southern would have believed that within 48 hours, South Sudan would be the 195th state on the face of the earth. It would be the 54th state in Africa, and in a week's time, the 193rd state member of the UN. So it is an overwhelming feeling. It's a feeling that is almost like a rebirth. There are two milestones in a man's life, birth and death. In the life of every Southerner, there'll be three milestones: birth, rebirth, which is the 9th of July, and death. And that we have been spared to see this day is a great privilege to all of us. And we remember also with sadness and tribute all the sacrifices that our people have made. Millions have died in the course of this. Our leader, John Garang, died as a part of that. Many of those who would have been here today, including my dear late wife, Mary Bassiouni, would have been here to celebrate this day. But we and my children, who are all proud of this, thank Salva Kiir for his leadership and the SPLM for bringing us to this day. So it's a great, momentous day for us.
And I know that is a sentiment a lot of people from South Sudan feel, and there's this influx of people obviously getting into South Sudan, hoping to be there on that day. Now, you know, as South Sudan moves on, following the July 9th mark, there's obviously a lot of expectations. I'm just curious about what you'd caution against in terms of what people would expect to change immediately following that day.
I think we're all overtaken by the euphoria of a new country, a new nation, and not many people can understand this because most people are born to a country, most people own a country, most people belong to a country. And for us, being citizens of a country for the first time means a lot. And therefore, there is the high expectation that being independent means a panacea for all our ills. I would like to warn my own compatriots that that is not going to be the case. The challenges are going to be great. We are going to be under a lot of pressure to prove that, given the responsibility, we can take on this responsibility with a sense of humility, but also with a sense of accountability and a sense of responsibility, and that it will mean sacrifices for us. And that is going to be a great sacrifice to the leaders of tomorrow, not only those who are going to assume the helm of power, but for our young generations who expect much. So, yes, independence is going to mean much to us. We welcome it. We are proud of it. We are going to be independent. And for the first time, we're going to be citizens of a country and a nation we can call our own. But the challenges are great. But I think the positive side of it is that when you are in charge of your destiny, no challenge is impossible.
Absolutely. Now, of course, there is this cloud that is being presented by the standoff in South Kordofan, which we mentioned earlier, and of course the suspended issue of the Abyei region, which are potential problems for the future government of South Sudan and the future peace. As an expert who's dealt with humanitarian and emergency and other issues, how do you recommend that this issue is resolved peacefully and very timely too, so that life can go on?
I think one of the greatest lessons we've learned from the recent crisis in Abyei, the occupation of Abyei by the North, and also the conflict in southern Kordofan, has been the way in which SPLM, under the leadership of Salva Kiir, has really exercised extreme restraint. I think that is what we're looking for. That is what we're really looking for on both sides, that there should be restraint. We have paid very high prices. We have lost thousands and millions of people. We do not want to go to war again. No one is in that spirit. Recently, I just came back from Beirut, where there is quiet, and Beirut is an island of tranquility in the Arab world. And when I asked the Lebanese why this was so, they said, we have learned the value of peace. And I think we in the Sudan should have learned the value of peace, and therefore we need to negotiate diplomatically, peacefully, but never go back to war. And therefore there is a need for restraint on both sides. There is a need to commit ourselves to be responsible leaders.
Well, thank you so much, David Bassiouni, Chairman and CEO of the Bassiouni Group, for joining us today on In Focus, and we wish you all the best and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.